Hello, this is Michael Gawk, and you're listening to the Internet Advertising Podcast. In this episode, I'll talk about Google Ads tips for Google Search Ads and Google Display Ads. Tip 1 is using simple text ads in display ad campaigns. Now, I've talked about this before, but it's a good tip, so I want to mention it again. If you're creating a display ad campaign, the default ad you can create is a responsive text ad. Now, these are very nice because you can enter lots of headlines, some graphics, a couple of versions of the description, and Google will create its own combinations of that ad depending on where it's shown. If there's less space, it'll show less things. If there's more space, someone's viewing that on the desktop, for example, it will use more elements. It will try different combinations and see which one converts best, which one clicks, it has the highest CTR, etc. Now, the problem with that approach is that it takes a long time for these ads to be accepted. And if you have a new campaign, you have a new idea, you want to get it going as soon as possible. Or if you have a campaign that's already going and you have a different landing page or an interesting concept of what to try next, you always want these ads to be checked quickly, and you want to see how it works. But these responsive ads sometimes take days to be accepted. So what I do is I add a responsive display ad like I would normally, but also I use a simple text ad to just see if the new landing page or the new text I'm using in the ad actually works. I want to see if my idea is good or not. You can't create a normal text ad in the display network, but you can copy one. So what you have to do is you either have to take any text ad you have in the search network. If you don't have a campaign on the search network, then you have to create a dummy campaign, create a text ad, select it, and choose Edit Copy. Then you go to your display network campaign and you paste it. Once you paste it, you'll just edit it. You can edit what you want. You can change the landing page, change the text. That's why I said it's any text ad for anything at all, because you can even change the domain. But you have this format, which is a text ad, simple text ad, and it usually gets accepted within the hour. Sometimes it's even less. Once you have one ad, you can copy it, copy and edit in the same ad group and different ad groups, so you don't have to use that first dummy search campaign anymore. So you can get your ad running quickly. Now, there's one more benefit to this, which is that sometimes if everybody's using these big graphical ads, sometimes people might know that it's an ad. They just get banner blindness. But this simple text ad sometimes actually works better, gets higher CTR, or gets higher conversions than this complicated responsive text ad. So that's tip number 1, simple text ad in the display network campaign. Tip number 2 is try short text ads in search campaigns. Nowadays, Google lets you add lots of headlines, a couple of different lines of descriptions. The ads are longer than they used to be. Sometimes all these lines don't show up, but the conventional wisdom is that the larger the ad is, meaning the more text it has, the more extensions it has, the more place it takes up, and the bigger the chance that somebody will click. Now, that's usually true, but the thing is, if everybody on the page is using these long ads with lots and lots of text, sometimes people that are skimming through might not want to read it. I know that when I see a text ad with a couple of different extensions added, not ones that are links, but those that show up as text, it just all blends in, and it's even hard to read, hard to see what the ad is about. So what I'm telling you to do is try a short ad, just like 1 or 2 words in one headline and in the other, because you need to fill out both headlines, and just like 2-3 words in the description, maybe a question or just a good call to action. The ad is going to be really short, and if all the other ads are really long, it's going to stand out. Even if it's not first, it might be second or third on the page, it's just going to be different and it'll draw the eye. That's tip number 2. Try short text ad to differentiate yourself from long ads of competitors. Tip number 3 concerns Gmail ads. Now, if you don't know, you can create a separate type of campaign. That's a Gmail campaign. What that does is when somebody logs into Gmail, they'll see an ad that looks like another email in their inbox. They can click it to expand it. If they want to, they can even forward it or save it to their inbox. But the tip I'm talking about is how to target those ads. What you can try to do is, if you have a competitor that's pretty large and there's a big chance people have signed up for their newsletter, you can target their brand name to have your ads show up for people that get that newsletter. So if you have some company, large company, that sells the same thing as you do, and you know people are signed up for their newsletter, you can create a campaign in Gmail and as keywords add the name of that company or words that they always use, say to describe themselves, I don't know, some tagline that's distinctive. That way, ads should show up to people that also have that newsletter in their inbox. If they're interested in that competitor, there's a big chance they'll be interested in you. What you can do is directly advertise your website, or you might just advertise a lead page to gather emails. If people are getting newsletters from somebody else, there's a big chance they will also sign up for your newsletter. So try that out. Tip number 3, target your competitors in Gmail ads. Tip number 4 is be careful of automatic audience expansion. This is slightly related to the previous tip. Google will automatically expand your audience on display ads. It will see what type of people clicked, what type of people converted, if you have conversion tracking, and it will add those people to your to the people that see your ad. The problem with that is if you have very narrow targeting, like with the Gmail ads when you're targeting competitors, you might not necessarily want to expand it, at least not right away, especially if you're not tracking conversions, because the system can just run away with it and not show any ads to people you're actually targeting and just show ads to the people it thinks are similar. When you do a report for the places where your ads show, you can see how much it showed for your exact targeting and how much it, for example, if you have keywords added, it will show how many showed for each keyword and how many times the ads showed for the automatic expansion. Sometimes it's an order of magnitude higher for the automatic expansion, or it might even be 0 for what you actually targeted. So if you're starting out a campaign, I would advise you to either turn off automatic targeting or just look at it and closely monitor it. So you don't think that the campaign is not converting at all when actually it's converting for your targeted metrics, for your targeted keywords or audiences, but it's not targeting for the automatic expansion because Google was looking for people who clicked, but that's not actually people that convert or that are valuable to you. So that's the next tip, which is be careful with automatic audience expansion. Before I get to the last tip, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, which is Clickmeter. Go to internetadvertisingpodcast.com/tracking to find out more. Now, Clickmeter is a tracking solution that lets you get the most out of your links. If you're advertising on Google, chances are you're advertising somewhere else too. If you're an affiliate, you have lots of websites that you're advertising for. Clickmeter lets you have all the data in one place. You can see the conversions from all your affiliate networks in Clickmeter if the affiliate network has postbacks, which most affiliate networks do. And you can also see which traffic sources converted best. So you don't have to log into lots of different places. And also you have some data that's not possible if you're not using this tracking solution. So you can monitor broken links, you can monitor click fraud, you can see what devices they came from, which geographic regions. It might be hard in some traffic sources to even see that data. They have over 100,000 big and small businesses as clients. You can try them out now. Go to internetadvertisingpodcast.com/tracking and turn up your tracking to get better results. The last tip I have is to try keyword targeting on the display network. This used to be the default the only thing you could use to target on the display network on Google. Nowadays, you have audience targeting, demographic targeting. You can have custom intent audiences. You can have affinity audiences. There's lots of automation. Now, this automation works great, but sometimes what you want is just for your ads to show up on pages that talk about the subject that concerns your ads. So you don't want your ads showing up in mobile. You don't want them on YouTube. You just want them on a page that talks about dresses if you have a site about dresses. If you're selling guitars, you want to show up on a page about guitars. I'll tell you how you have to do it. When you're creating a new ad group, you have to choose content targeting and then click on keywords. There's one more thing you have to do. Google now automatically chooses the type of keyword targeting as audience, which is showing ads to people likely to be interested in these keywords. And also on web pages, apps, videos. But what I just talked about, you want to show up only on pages. So you choose the second option, which is content. Only shows ads on web pages, apps, and videos related to these keywords. Now, you enter some keywords, and one more thing you have to do is you have to go on into target expansion and turn it off. Because by default, it won't show up only on these pages. Your audience will be expanded right away, what I talked about a couple of tips before. So choose content targeting, keywords, choose the radio button content, and then turn off target expansion. Enter some keywords and see how that works. There might be little traffic. You're probably going to have to set the bids higher than normal because with automatic or content audience targeting, you can set the bids 10 times lower sometimes, and you get lots and lots of clicks. But they don't convert as well as just people seeing the ads on a web page that's related to your keywords. Now, this will show up on videos that are related, but not to just people that sometimes searched for this keyword. But the video has to be about this keyword you're interested in. So try that. That's my last tip for the day. Try keyword targeting only on pages that have that keyword and see how that works for you. I hope you liked today's episode. If you want to listen more, be sure to subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, or your podcast client of choice. You can reach me on Twitter at GokMichael. That's GOCMICHAL. Please let me know what you'd like me to talk about next. And you can also visit the website at internetadvertisingpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.